Welcome back to Immersive History, and today we're going to talk about the Russian sleep experiment. The Russian sleep experiment is a creepypasta that describes how 5 test volunteers were given a sleep-inhibiting stimulant as part of a scientific study conducted in the Soviet Union that later served as the inspiration for an urban legend. Many news outlets, including Snoops, News.com, and Live About, attribute the story's inception to a user named Orange Soda, who posted something on a website that is now known as the Creepypasta Wiki on August 10th, 2010. This will be a bit of a different history video. Stay tuned to the end to find out. What would happen if humans went through a phase of getting no sleep? Well, the Russians wondered the same thing in the 1940s. We are aware that getting enough sleep is essential for us. We are also aware of the consequences of short-term sleep deprivation. But what if someone didn't get any sleep for a full month? No, we're not talking about 2 or 3 hours per day of rest. We're talking about having constant attention for a month. It isn't possible to stay awake for 30 days, any normal person would say. No matter how hard we fight to stay awake when we are sleepy, we eventually fall asleep on our own. At some time, even those with chronic insomnia fall asleep. It's interesting to consider what may occur if someone truly went without sleep for that length of time. Although it's never actually happened, there are various internet reports that suggest tests were done in the past to determine the consequences of prolonged sleep deprivation. The Russian sleep experiment story is the most well-known of them all. What is the Russian sleep experiment? What would occur if someone went nearly 30 days without sleeping? It was the goal of a study team in the Soviet Union in the 1940s. A team of experts seized 5 political prisoners and imprisoned them for 15 days in a sealed gas chamber as part of a military-approved scientific experiment. For at least 30 days, the participants were continuously given an aerosol stimulant to keep them awake. They were informed that if they could stay awake for 30 days, they would be free. For a few days, everything seemed to be normal. The participants maintained conversing in whispers with one another and with the researchers, who were still keeping watch over them from outside the chamber. Their behavior was observed using covert two-way mirrors, while the chats were recorded electronically. The 6th day was when things started to shift. Stress and paranoia began to manifest in the captives. They ceased speaking to one another and occasionally merely mumbled into the microphone. Beginning on the 9th day, things became worse. 2 of the prisoners began to run around the cell, screaming so loudly that their vocal cords could break. But then the screaming suddenly stopped and there was a strange silence. The scientists declared their intention to open the chamber because they feared the worst. Nevertheless, a voice inside told them they no longer desired freedom. The chamber was opened after 15 days, but the outcomes were terrible. One of the prisoners had passed away. Every one of them had their flesh peeled off and their bones split open. They were all horribly damaged. They appeared to have consumed their own flesh as well. They refused being let out of the chamber and retaliated with a fury and aggression they had not displayed before. In their struggle to avoid being taken out of the chamber and put to sleep, they even tore off their muscles and bones due to their superhuman strength. Each of them responded the same way when asked why they had done it to themselves. "I must stay awake." The survivors displayed remarkable strength even after being taken out of the chamber. Incredible resistance to medications and sedatives, unbelievable ability to survive even after fatal wounds, and a strong need to stay awake and be administered with stimulant gas once more. The researchers also found that once a person dozed off, they passed away right away. The other 3 subjects were given medical attention for their wounds and made ready to enter the gas chamber after the other 2 had passed away. However, the EEG monitors quickly showed that all the subjects had passed out. Another prisoner passed away while dozing off just before the chamber was locked, and the researcher also killed another. The researcher asked the remaining survivors what he was, and he said that he was the evil that lived in every human mind and was restrained by sleep. Soon after, the scientist killed him with a gun before attempting to erase all evidence of the test. Here's the truth to set your mind at ease. That experiment was fake. Absolutely, it is entirely false. But as soon as it appeared online, it became viral, and many began to question whether the story was real. The debate continues. It's realistic in part because the military during the Soviet era was known for being inhumane and engaged in a variety of covert experiments. But this wasn't one of them. The internet horror tale, The Russian Sleep Experiment, first surfaced on a wiki page in 2010. Unknown author. Nonetheless, they went by the username Orange Soda. Wiki is a website where users may edit online material to make it more interesting, unbelievable, scary, or hilarious. Even the photographs of the Russian sleep experiment that can be found online are all altered versions of images produced by random web browsers. The purpose of these creepypasta horror stories and images is to scare viewers. Creepypastas are brief pieces of user-generated material written with the purpose to frighten others with horrific tales of supernatural or paranormal events. One creepypasta that gained enough traction to be taken seriously was the Russian sleep experiment. But rest assured, neither in Russia nor any place in the world has anything of this sort ever occurred. Several people have gone more than a week without sleep, either for a record attempt or as part of a competition. Randy Gardner, a high school student from California, remained up for 11 straight days in order to break a record for this feat. The young guy had memory loss, trouble concentrating, lightheadedness, slurred speech, hallucinations, and paranoia during the course of the 264-day experiment. He did not, however, display any of the terrible traits and woke up feeling normal once more, free from any long-lasting effects of the lack of sleep. He missed the deadline for entry, so he was unable to enter the Guinness Book of Records. This occurred in 1964. The effects of sleep deprivation have long been the subject of scientific investigation. Because sleep is a topic that fascinates scientists, there is still so much we don't understand about it. Whenever we learn about a sleep experiment, we believe it to be plausible. Nobody has ever heard of a stimulant gas, though, that could keep someone up for a month or more. Although it is known that the Soviet military used several types of gas chambers for torturing prisoners, they did not keep the detainees conscious for extended periods of time. Sleep deprivation for extended periods of time can cause a number of health issues, but it will never convert a person into a cannibal. Lack of sleep has repercussions, but they are gradual and take time to manifest. Everyone understands the value of getting a good night's sleep. We only want to go home and go to bed after a long, arduous day at work. Insufficient sleep at night leaves us feeling drowsy, irritable, exhausted, and overly sleepy during the day. These are all the obvious consequences of lack of sleep. When these blatant indications of sleep deprivation go unnoticed, they might have more severe repercussions. Our bodies operate like machines. Every night it needs a few hours of sleep. Otherwise, a breakdown can occur. Our bodies suffer when we go for extended periods of time without getting enough sleep. As seen by the increasing frequency of car accidents, sleep deprivation can also result in numerous types of mishaps. Lack of sleep is just as risky as drunk driving. Accidents involving dangerous machinery in factories can also be brought on by lack of sleep. Even the Chernobyl disaster is thought to have resulted from a lack of sleep. The lesson of the story: many health issues can result from lack of sleep. Some are overtly caused while others are more subtle and persistent. It does not, however, result in any of the behaviors shown in the Russian sleep experiment. But that doesn't mean you should try to go for extended periods of time without getting enough sleep. Every adult should obtain at least 7 hours of quality sleep each night, since it is just as important as eating healthy food and breathing clean air. The three main components of sound sleep quality are a healthy lifestyle, a balanced diet, and a calm state of mind. And this marks the end of our video. If you enjoyed watching, please let us know by giving us a thumbs up. Want to know immediately when a new video is uploaded? Then activate the bell to be notified whenever we upload a new one. See you in the next video. Thank you.